All right. So, welcome, Ed. This is the second edition of our Boots Wrapped interviews. I am Jung from Klipy. I basically interview people that I meet throughout my journey of building Klipy. And Ed really shined out in terms of uh, the philosophical method of how I do sales or how I just approach business in general or people in general. So I wanted to sort of invite Ed to share his insights into the genuine connection. So that will be our title of the podcast. Um, why don't you give us a little bit of introduction of yourself, Ed?
Well, thanks, Jung. I really
Yeah.
appreciate you asking me to come on and to be the second person that you've had on the podcast is quite an honor.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly appreciate that. And when we first met, I had purchased your product. I think I reached out to you to just learn more, a
Yes.
little bit more about the product, and we had a really, really good conversation at that point. I think we're aligned
Mm-hmm.
in our thinking and sales and our approach to things. I have
Yes.
been in business as a consultant, advisor, coach to small business owners, primarily professional service providers in the B2B space for a little
Mm-hmm.
over 30 years now. And over that time, I've done marketing and sales training for people. And I learned the old fashioned way of selling. And then I also taught people the old fashioned way of selling. I mentioned to you earlier that I learned the Sandler Sales Institute method that
Yes.
David Sandler taught. And I learned from one of the original Sandler franchisees. And those guys were just really, really good at what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked under that guy for about 3 years. And I went off on my own and I did sales training and I combined it with marketing. And we did very, very well. But over the years, what I found is that people are becoming a little less uh, they're becoming more resistant to that
Mm-hmm.
type of sales approach.
Yeah.
Back then, it was a lot of fun, but now people want more genuine connections. They want more authenticity. So we're moving away from hard closes and pitching all the time and sophisticated sales funnels to more of a relationship, an intentional
Mm-hmm.
approach to working with people. And that's the reason why I wrote the book No More Cringe and the Strategic Ally Method, and are launching the Genuine Connection Alliance, where entrepreneurs work together by growing their business through trust, collaboration, and connection.
Wow. I think it really resonates a lot. I mean, I am much more earlier in the career than you. Just going past my 14 years mark now. But yes, I tried the old Sandler's method. That's the way I was taught as well. I think definitely, as you say, the world is a little bit changing. I think it's getting accelerated over the last few years as well, thanks to AI. So that's also why I wanted to just bring a thought leader in this topic to make sure like people are ready for the changes upcoming as well. So based on that, maybe we could talk a little bit about how AI is changing the world in this. Do you see the question was, is AI really changing everything in sales? Or is there anything left the same? Or is it going to be permanently changed in the future?
Well, I see AI as shifting the tempo of business, where
Mm.
it handles the repetitive tasks and speeds up the process a bit, but at the cost of warmth. So I see this widening gap of efficiency and connection, and clients just really crave relevance and resonance. And the people that are winning when they're using AI are using AI to assist them in creating more human space and interaction, not replacing it with AI. So uh, that's the area I think that people need to focus on. It's not AI replacing the things that we do, but working alongside of us like a co-pilot so that we can do the connection with other people more efficiently.
Yes, I think there were a lot of topics. There was Artisan doing a rage bait advertisement recently. I think you might have seen some news about it in San Francisco. They put a large billboard saying "Stop hiring humans, hire Ava." That advertisement, they did admit that it was a race bait like marketing.
Hmm.
But I've also seen a lot of, so based on that, I was monitoring Reddit, Twitter, different social platforms, see how people react to it. Then more and more so, it seems that AI is actually pushing people to create more human faces to actually get solutions as well, which is quite interesting. Also, I think that also aligns with how personal brand based sales or businesses started thriving a little bit more as well, because opposed
Hmm.
to brand based business before. So, what do you think? Have you seen any of your clients or people around you experiencing or trying out AI SDRs? Because it was a big topic for like a year. When
Yep.
it first came out, it was really effective closing rate, and then it seems like it has converged with humans now. So I wasn't sure because it's not really available in Asia yet. In
Hmm.
Asia, we're more uh, there's a lot of conglomerate based economies here, so all of everything is enterprise sales. So you have to build connection with multiple people in the organization to reach the decision maker
Hmm.
and then sell. But then it seems like AI SDR is more popular in US. So I wanted to see how you see this. Have you ever experienced AI SDR reaching out to you, and how do you make out of this phenomenon actually?
Well, the outreach is changing so much now. We use an AI an AI phone agent, but
Mm,
it's inbound as opposed to outbound, and we don't use any like AI avatars where
mm,
it becomes the face of your company or just different. Different avatars for say for salespeople. We
mm,
don't use it in that way. We do let people know we're not trying to trick anybody. I'll say that you can talk to my AI assistant Celeste, who understands everything about the business. She can answer any questions that you may have. We'll do that. So we're mostly using AI to enhance our existing relationships or people that are already familiar with us. So, for
mm,
example, I've got a client, actually several clients that do a lot of cold email. One in particular that was sending out several thousand emails a week. And I suggested that they make a switch. And I've done this with almost all of my clients that do a lot of heavy cold emailing and say, well, let's look at people that are engaging with our network in some way, shape, or form so that they're at least familiar with us. They know our name. And if they don't know our name, let's interact with them in such a way that they will know our name. So we
mm,
may, if they post on LinkedIn, we'll engage with the content. We'll do that several times just so they can see who we are, try to engage them into replying to our content, connect with them.
mm.
And instead of pitching right away, what we'll do is just send a welcome message. Really great to connect with you. Hope you have an amazing week. That's as
Yeah.
simple as that. We'll
Mm-hmm.
do some videos where I have a couple of different AI apps that I can do AI videos. I can do videos of myself, which merge AI and a recording of me, and it looks like I'm giving them a customized message, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay authentic because there's some little bugs that people can kind of pick out if it's
Yeah.
AI or not. And I wanted to stay authentic. So anyhow, when we started reaching out to people who just knew who we were, and we decided that okay, we're going to take a little bit extra time to get them to know us and feel comfortable with us, and then we start reaching out to them, the numbers went way up. So we were talking earlier about
Yes.
sending up 10,000 emails or something like that to get 10 sales, as opposed to you reach out to 10 people and get 10 sales. We were closer to that mark than we ever were with the ten sales on 10,000 emails, which would actually be pretty good if you're doing cold email right now.
Yeah, I think definitely there's a shift in this as well. I mean, before, especially when like mass marketing and there weren't any much of the customization or like AI assistance in this area, we really had to just increase the funnel size to increase the sales at some point, or hope for star salespeople to come up and then basically be able to close more. But things are changing, and then I think there are definitely ways for even smaller companies with smaller sales organizations, no layers, a few salespeople doing like a end-to-end sales. I'm seeing these patterns here and there as well as I talk to our users too. There are salespeople who can, I mean, they call it the account-based marketing approach, ABM. There's a lot of buzz going on around it, but essentially it's just about knowing uh, like sales and marketing not being separated. Now they're working together to go
Mhm.
through the entire buyer journey from being a stranger to a customer and then creating the unified kind of journey as well. And then there's areas that AI helps definitely with this because before it was the issue of volume. You wouldn't do that unless you're doing a very high ticket sales on an enterprise level. But I think it's becoming, even for SME, B2B area, now we can actually uh, build trust properly over time and close. So maybe that's also contributing a lot to the software development. Also, your approach. I actually tried it out more thoroughly. I've been telling some of our users about like being able to do this now instead of just focusing on marketing numbers. Because originally they will come in and ask for like funnel-metric tracking, and then I ask them, so what are you tracking? Why are you tracking this? And then I hear the good old preach, larger funnel, outreach more, prospect more, and then eventually the closer will close it somehow. But always there's a breakage between like a qualification area already. So marketing reaches a number, but then sales looks at it. I think it was also my sister, because my sister is also in sales, and she was telling me about how like she gets a list handed over from marketing, and then two of them were like your mom at gmail.com.
Mhm.
And then it just gets through these numbers. So there's a lot of vanity metrics, and I think a lot of organizations are changing with all the tools changing as well. So I think it's good to see. Um,
A lot of people
yeah.
that a lot of
Mm-hmm.
clients will ask me about buyer intent data. They've really gotten caught up in a lot of that.
Mm.
And I'm not. Are you familiar with Costco at all here in the states?
Costco, of course, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what I do is I tell them, well, let's look at the Costco effect. You go into
Mm.
Costco, and let's say if you go there on a Saturday, they're out sampling food, different types of things. You didn't go into the Costco to buy any of that stuff. For example, there was like it was I think it's grass-fed beef sausage. It was
Yeah.
$18. They think it's like $10 a pound or something like that, and something that I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't normally buy. But they sampled it, and I tried it. I go, oh, this is actually pretty good, and I ended up buying it. There was no buyer intent when I went into Costco to buy the sausage at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tell people that if somebody they may not even know that they have a need for something, but if you present it right, you don't need buyer intent data on that
Mm.
person to actually sell something to them. When I was learning the Sandler method, David Sandler would say the best way to sell something is you go into somebody who didn't have any idea that they were interested in buying what you have to sell, and you end up selling them. And it's kind of the same approach. You don't have to worry
Mm.
about whether somebody shows buyer intent that they're going to buy
Mm.
something. The fact of the matter is, you're not the only one who has that data. A lot of other people have that data,
Yeah.
and if they do have buyer intent, they've already determined what their buying criteria is. They know how much they're going to spend. They know all the little things that need to that product or service needs to address. You have no say in what the buying criteria is. So if you don't meet every one of their criteria at the price point that they're looking for, they'll keep looking for the next person. I want
Mm.
somebody that doesn't have any idea what price they're going to pay, what the criteria is. I want to be able to influence all of that and become the trusted advisor and guide them to buy my option versus everybody else's option. So
Wow.
that's one of the things I tell people is that just don't get caught up in all this data. It's available. It's not, you're not the only one who gets it. A lot of people have that data, so it doesn't give you that much of an advantage over anybody else.
That's actually, wow. Yes, that's actually true. That now that you mentioned it, I actually agree with it. Is there anything that you see from your experience that is still not going to change even with the AI coming in?
Yeah, the need for trust, the power of empathy, the importance of
Mm-hmm.
listening, those are
Mm,
timeless qualities. There's three things that have to be in place. I call them the three pillars in order to make a sale. You have to have comfort, trust, and confidence. So
mm,
people have to be comfortable with you, they have to trust you, and they have to have the confidence that you're actually going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver. And if you can't meet those three things, you're not going to get the sale. And that's been the case for as long as people have been selling, and AI is definitely not going to change that.
yeah, that's true. Yes, definitely. I recently had uh, probably the longest sales cycle with someone, and I was actually more like testing myself out to see how far I can go in understanding their needs. It was a it was a construction equipment salesperson uh, in New York State. I think he's been working for this like a he was in the government sector for about 40 years, and I just chat with him over and over and over because he actually visited our website, but then he wasn't really sure about, hey, is AI going to be really effective? Is it really going to work? He had a lot of concerns. Then I decided to just listen to him. So he talked a lot about politics, his life, how much farmland he has, the renovation actually he did on the barn recently, the tractor he bought, like all the machines he's buying for his farm.
Mm-hmm.
Then eventually, what happened was he was mentioning about how he spent the summer last year, and then he realized that, oh, by the way, actually for the last 20 like 10, 15 years, I've been asking my daughter to organize my emails every summer. Then he realized that if you have this, like the CRM that I'm building, which is supposed to organize everything, he actually just suddenly realized that, oh, if I actually get this on and if it actually works, then I don't have to ask my daughter anymore next summer. So he suddenly decided to purchase it. I didn't do any sales, actually. I just listened, and then I just told him my experience before, what kind of projects I delivered. So now that I look at this story, and then matching it to your three pillars, actually I'm ticking all the pillars here: listening, and then basically being able to make him comfortable by listening to him, giving him trust by sharing my experience, and
Mm-hmm.
also him just realizing his own pain and telling me this was the ultimate buying signal, which I didn't buy online. It was just by listening. So uh, these three pillars, they definitely work in sales level. I love doing this as well uh, because before, when I was doing the traditional sales, selling some insurance products, I did mention it before when we were chatting before the recording, was like, I am not proud of what I did back then. I don't think it was really helpful for them, but the way I sell now makes me really happy in a way that I found something that is valuable for them. They also understand the value, and I really understand where it comes from because I know. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of things about their life, and this makes me really happy every time I close the sales. Not because of the numbers; it was a very small ticket, but I spent about 2 weeks just listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
But it just makes me happy as well. And then
Yeah.
I think we're mutually happy. We talk a lot through the product as well, and he's been helping us refer us to like people around him. It's been very helpful for us as well. So uh, definitely timeless values still don't change, even though I use AI here and there, but not in this conversation. So
Yep. Yep.
um, moving a
Technology
little
can
bit,
absolutely assist
yeah.
you. And it can't stand in for you when you're trying to build trust,
Mhm.
but it can certainly assist you. There's still the
Hmm.
reason you still have to show up, and you're the
Yes.
trust agent, and there's no replacing that.
Yeah, the AI help part in this was just letting me know what kind of it's really fast and very good at researching and organizing information for you. So a lot of the ways that I use AI is to just be able to give me what I need to know about this person in a historical
Mhm.
format. So what kind of work he worked on, the companies that he worked on, and it can also do a little bit of in-depth research on the kind of deals or kind of clients these companies have, and it shows the profile of what kind of experience he might have had before.
Mhm.
So I use AI mostly for that, just to prep me, get to know a little bit more about the person before I meet them, so that I am prepared to empathize a bit better. Because everybody has a different experience throughout their career, and this career experience shapes how they see things. And I need to be in that angle to have a good conversation. So I definitely think AI helps in this, because I'm always a lazy salesperson, so I try to wing it before I go in. I will figure it out during the conversation what this person is, but it also bit me in the back a lot of the times. And my mentor used to tell me, "Hey, spending time on research before you go into the meeting is very important." But I mean, if you have back-to-back meetings, it's just not happening. But now I have back-to-back meetings, but I can go in knowing what the person might say or what kind of experience they might have had,
Mhm.
and this already helps a lot just by just getting prepared. And that was something that I actually started working on in the beginning, although I am building something completely different now. But that was actually my original product idea as well.
It's important because the sale is about the other person more than it is about us. And we need to remember that as we go into conversations with people.
We talked a lot about like individual sales or relationships, right? But then obviously for businesses, scale is also important. And I think you talk a lot about quiet authority or strategic ally method.
Yep.
Would you like to share a little bit more about when you take this into a scale? How does it work in terms of, I guess, the mechanics of these kind of genuine connection at scale, actually?
Yeah. So my approach really, and when I'm working with clients, what we do is we focus on. I guess it's similar to both the book
Mm-hmm.
Atomic Habits and The Slight Edge. So
Mm.
it's daily activity. So every day we're doing something, and we're
Mm-hmm.
trying to improve it by 1%. So maybe
Yeah.
the first day, what we're doing is trying to just get into one conversation, because I believe that um, sales is about conversation, especially in B2B. Most people aren't going to
Mm-hmm.
buy what you have to sell, especially if you're selling it for any significant amount without a
Yeah.
conversation happening. So let's start with just getting one conversation one day. Very easy to do. A conversation could be you comment on somebody's post and then they reply to the comment, and that counts. And so
Mm.
now we're looking for momentum and increasing the intensity of what we're doing by 1%. So the next day it may be two conversations that we have. But now we're going to look at to increase the intensity. So that might be now we're sending a connection request to those people, and we're connecting there, and we're sending them a welcome message. Uh, then we raise the intensity by having a conversation in the DM. And then the next level is to have a conversation on maybe a Zoom call, or maybe, and
Wow.
after that, an in person conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But we're both increasing the number of conversations we have slowly, and we're increasing the intensity of those conversations. And so before you know it, you're having 5 conversations a day, if your schedule permits it. And you're at that point you're having after scale. You're bringing other people into your organization that are handling different areas of these conversations that you're having, either creating them or they're actually having the conversations. But it doesn't take very long to get to a point where you've gone from one conversation on a post to 5 conversations on a Zoom call. And if you've gone through the process of interacting with those people, when you meet them on a Zoom call, they are comfortable with you. You have gained a certain level of trust, and they're confident in what you do. Because you've
Hmm.
had the conversations, they've probably seen your posts that show your authority, and those conversations usually go really, really well.
Wow.
Most of my clients have gone from being frustrated in their outreach and spending
Mm.
a lot of hours. I've had clients that have posted every day for a year and then didn't
Oh.
get a single client out of it. And I tell them, well, that's not unusual because they think that
Hmm.
something that they're doing is wrong. So the odds of getting a client through posting are pretty slim.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do more than that. You're going to have to do some commenting. You have to outreach to other people. You're going to need to talk to them in DM. So when they
Hmm.
start, what we do is we go through that process that I mentioned. We're just trying to have one conversation. That's just we start with one, we build momentum from there. But I also limit how much time we're going to spend on outreach. I say we're going to do
Mm.
all this in an hour. After an hour, you're going to just we're done with outreach for the day. So we're going to get as much done as we can in that hour, but
Hmm.
once the hour is hit, then we turn it off. And it forces people to be more efficient in the way they look at things. Like uh, um, uh, Warren Buffett talks about a punch card philosophy he has for investing, where he has 20 holes to punch and for his entire investing career. So he has to be very selective where he invests his
Hmm.
money. And I tell people that's how we have to look at investing our time. We want to be talking to the right people, not everybody. And we want to talk to people where there's a high probability that something positive is going to happen. The positive thing
Hmm.
could be we get a client or we get a referral partner or we get a collaboration partner. It doesn't matter which one, because if they become a referral partner, they're most likely going to be a collaboration partner, and they see what we're doing firsthand. So it's a good chance they're going to become a client. You're going to get all three. And if you have that mindset where you're not so focused on trying to get a client every time, you're a lot more relaxed. The other person can see how relaxed you are, and you're focused on the relationship, not on the transaction of trying to get them to be a client. And because of that, you end up getting a lot more clients.
Definitely. Wow. Yes. I should actually apply this a little more for my own as well.
Hard to
I think
deal
there
with,
are, yeah, yeah.
especially if
I
you've done
think,
sales before. That's the hardest part. Everybody
yeah,
keeps wanting to go to the sale. Like, just relax. It'll come.
yeah, yeah. Um, that's so funny. I mean, it just brings back memory of all the times that I was just so stiff or just stuck up with the sales and then blew it up. But at the same time, I think it's just learning how it goes. Uh, but yeah, definitely that relaxation part, just yeah, it's the hardest part. Definitely.
Yeah, and
Um,
spending time on the stuff that matters. I think
hmm.
people get so caught up in posting on LinkedIn that they think, well, I got to get another post out. I got to keep posting. Uh, they're using AI to write their content for them. That's the other thing that I find that people are not paying enough attention to. They're lazy in the way they use AI. So they'll use AI to write their posts for them. So they sound pretty much like everybody else's posts that's using AI.
Yeah.
They're using
Yeah.
commenting apps, so they're not even commenting on the other person's post, and the commenting apps may even reply to the comments. So who you've got AI talking to AI, and you're out of the loop. So the people, and I shift the target is for
Hmm.
many people. The target is somebody who's active on LinkedIn, who's actively posting content on LinkedIn. I go, well, that's a pretty crowded market where only 5 to 12% of everybody that's on LinkedIn is actually actively posting on LinkedIn. But then you have the
Hmm.
other people, like my father-in-law, who doesn't post on LinkedIn. He doesn't like anything. He doesn't comment on anything, but he sees all of my posts. I've
Oh.
told him he'll say to me, "I saw this post that you did last week about this," and he can tell me in detail. And he's never liked a single post that he's never left a comment on a single post that I've published. And I go, would it kill you to leave me a like? But he's the target.
Yeah.
If I can speak to him, I can kind of figure out. and you can figure out like who's looking at your posts, and that's the person that I want to reach out to. That's the person that I'm not trying to sell them, but maybe just get their opinion. I want to get them into a conversation, and then I
Hmm.
can sell that person. And I don't have the competition that everybody else has, because most people aren't even, they're ignoring the lurkers out there that aren't engaged with our content.
Wow. I think it sort of goes back to the vanity numbers, the number of like a size of funnel that we talked about. The reason why the conversion is actually, uh, I mean, it's probably still optimizable, but I think there's definitely an area, especially for smaller businesses, to target is those, what you just mentioned, the lurkers, the
Yep.
conversation area. You can actually be more powerful in that area because it's uniquely you. Nobody can copy it as well. Everybody can copy scale as well. I see this from, I mean, I'm from a SaaS angle. So there's a lot of like all the things that you mentioned: auto commenting, auto replying, auto posting, auto outreach, mass writing emails. I don't know. A lot of people on my LinkedIn feed is talking about how to use Clay to like hyper personalize everything. But then actually, like I tried all of them, and then at the end of the day, the best email uh, in terms of like money and time ROI was just asking them, just, hey, happy to connect,
Yep.
and then just have a conversation. So I actually tried like just one liner invitation messages and one liner welcome message just to set the tone, and then I just go in and start like asking them or just telling them or just having conversation, simple conversation, and my
Yep.
conversion went up like a lot. And some of them do tell me about how like it's sort of a tiring, and they also mentioned some things about like what you said as well, like all the contents look the same, everybody's just repurposing everybody's content. And I just saw a post this morning about how you can use AI to repurpose famous kind of influencers post into your post to grow your audience. And I'm sorry, it's I think it, I mean, I guess for them it works now, but then I also don't know if it's going to work in the future. I think LinkedIn is also moving a little bit more towards comments. I think they started testing impression on comments as well. So they're saying the
Yes.
comments are actually a content as well. Stop just trying to push out contents that are basically refurbished version of someone's post that came out already like 2 years ago. I still see things like five top prompts for X, and then I look at the content. It says using GPT-3.
Oh
GPT-3
boy.
was last year. Yeah. But like we're talking about GPT-5 now, so this already kind of proves how this method is already sunsetting. It's retiring, and then the cycle's much faster now. I think there's definitely area where we can actually focus our attention or effort, as you said, into basically just an hour a day, just commenting on people, reading their things to understand what they're actually trying to say.
Yep.
That actually helps me learn a lot more as well, because there's no way you're going to know everything anyway. So just reading these posts, especially genuine ones. And now that I look back, I only engage with posts that actually looks like the person wrote it as well. So maybe that's something that is very helpful for people. I mean, a lot of our users do try a lot of posting as well. And especially like smaller ones that are just starting out,
Mhm.
or they just started looking for digital kind of way to sell. They exhausted their local contacts, so they're trying to reach out on digital. And then I think everything they do, every one of them will start doing posting, and then they eventually come back to the old methods of just reaching out, as you said. So I think it's converging into what you're saying as well.
It really is. One of the one that I guess he's a pretty decent sized influencer. He's got a list of
Hmm.
followers about 600,000 or so, and he let it slip that only 1 in 1,000 of his followers will actually buy anything from him, and that's including a little like lead magnet at $5. So 1 out of 1,000. That's if you only have a couple thousand, 3 or 4 or 5,000 followers. At best, you're going to get 5 or 10 sales out of that list, and
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to happen right away. It's going to happen after several posts, maybe several weeks or even months before somebody's
Mm-hmm.
comfortable enough with you before they buy. That's why I tell people that posting establishes authority, but you're not going if you're counting on it to make sales. It's a losing game. It's a very low probability effort.
Wow.
You're much better off commenting on other people's posts. I will comment on some people's posts, and I'll have, in fact, one I had a little over 1,500 impressions, and there are people that don't get 500 impressions with their posts. So I was getting more reach with a comment and more likes
Mm-hmm.
on a comment. I think I had 23 likes to that comment. And of the
Wow.
23 people that liked the comment, there were, I think 20% or so that were in my ideal client profile. And I just reached out to them with the standard connection request. It wasn't customized at all, but all of them connected with me, and I
Mm-hmm.
could easily get in a conversation with them. They know who I was. They liked the comment. A handful of people replied to the comment. So don't discount commenting as a strategy. And I think commenting is a better strategy than actually posting. You have to do both, but don't discount commenting as a way to reaching your ideal person. It's far
Yeah.
more targeted than posting because you have no idea who's going to see your post.
Definitely. I think that's exactly what I saw like a few days ago as well. Someone was saying, so your purpose online is to be in a position where your ideal clients are looking. But if you're just starting out, then you're nowhere near it because
Right.
you're not in their network, right? So I think it's a much better like winning strategy. Also, it's more engaging, and then you get to be like, I mean, we've been talking about genuine connection, but social media is about connection as well. And then you can actually be incorporated into their connection network more genuinely if you actually read through it and comment it and try to add value to the post, basically. That's
Yep.
what I also learned.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's not just about, I mean, the AI commenting. So I tried it 5, 6 months ago. Uh, that really detrimented my pipeline, actually.
I
People
believe it.
started realizing that I think of people. So later on, I actually reached out to some other people who like were very angrily responding to my AI generated comments. So I waited a few months and I reached out to them and said, like, "Hey, I know I was trying out this AI reply guy method. What really angered you that much that you actually had to leave this comment?" And then like there were a few ones like it was interesting. Like some of them actually felt like um, it was not sincere. It actually felt like I am discounting their authority. It felt like I was damaging his audience by creating that kind of junk information in the post. People take it very seriously, especially the ones that really care about their audience and then like the cause that they're talking about online. AI reply was like that was their comment about it. It basically felt like a personal attack
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
some sense. Yeah. So there are basically these AI methods, especially online, especially even more on the future. I think it's even getting more important to actually stay human.
Yeah.
It might be more beneficial for people who are also starting out on LinkedIn. Since we touched some of these AI reply guy and stuff, what do you think about um, the AI future in genuine connection? Is there anything that you see is coming in to help you or help us in this approach, or also something that you wish there was that could help building genuine connection better with AI? It doesn't have. It could be anything actually.
Well, really, I think people need to focus on
Mm-hmm.
AI in more of a co-pilot capacity, where
Mm-hmm.
you're working with it as opposed to letting it do the work for you. I know we're going to have a rapid question part here in a second, but I'm going to kind of jump the gun just a little bit because
Yeah.
one of the AI tools that I like and it use is called Extrovert. It's a commenting tool,
Mm-hmm.
and I've used a lot of commenting tools. It mimics my voice very very well. It's almost you can't even tell that it's an AI tool. But what I ended up doing is creating my own custom GPT that
Mm-hmm.
I'm constantly training on writing comments just like me. And it for a lot of people they wouldn't do it because the way I set it up is I split my screen. I'll import the entire post. It will give me a summary of the post. It'll tell me what the key points of the posts are. It'll give me two options for comments. I'll take one of the two. I will then manually type in that comment, and I can type pretty fast, but I am adjusting the comment based on my voice all the time. So I'm not depending completely on AI to write the
Mm-hmm.
comment for me. And then I feed that comment after I've edited it and published it back into AI to learn. So it's constantly learning how to write like me. And you really
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell the difference between an AI comment. In fact, the AI comments that are kind of co-authored by me are better than the comments that I might have on my own, where I wouldn't have thought of that. But that makes sense based on what the post is and the key point in the post. And the
Mm-hmm.
goal of the comments that I have is to get into a conversation. So what it'll do is it'll look at the post, it will identify whether or not, on a scale of 1 to 10, whether this person I can get into a conversation with them. Can we create a comment without a question at the end? I hate those when I see those with AI. So there's no question, but it draws people into wanting to reply to that comment, and I can get into a conversation with them because ultimately, that's how business is done. You have to get into conversations with people, and the earlier you can do it, the better. And that's one of the things I think. If you can spend some time actually creating custom GPTs
Mm-hmm.
to do some of the writing for you, and don't depend on the kind of the generic AI writers out there because they're all going to write just like well, it's just going to be the same type of thing. You can't tell
Yeah.
one person's AI post from another. You don't want to lose your personality and your philosophy, how you interact with people, your sense of humor, all those things. The only way that you're going to be able to do that is if you really train it well. On Extrovert, you can, but the way I'm approaching it's constantly learning and evolving.
Wow. I mean, I've been referred about Extrovert. Actually, I have it on one of the tabs on my browser as
Yeah, it's a
well.
great app.
Uh, it seems I am thinking about trying it out today as well, just to see how it looks. Um, that's very interesting. Oh, well, how about on the other aspects? Was there any other, or was there something that you wished there was that was made with AI to actually be able to help your clients more with the learning genuine connection method, actually?
Yeah, I'd like to have apps where we can do
Mm-hmm.
research on individuals and learn as much as we possibly can about them before we reach out. So
Mm-hmm.
I put in, say, um, their profile and maybe a handful of their most recent posts. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked. I don't know whether we talked about this during our interview or if it was before the interview. And the analogy of your neighbor has a
Mm-hmm.
has a construction going on inside their home. They're doing some remodeling. You can't tell what's going on from the outside, but they're remodeling, say, their basement, and you see the construction people coming in and out. It's kind of the elephant in the room. Like, how do you not say anything to your neighbor about, hey, what do you got going on? Are you doing some remodeling? And they're going to be happy to tell you what's going on because I'm sure they're very proud of whatever remodeling that they're spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in improving their home to do. So it's an easy conversation. The same thing is true for someone who's posting on LinkedIn. Maybe they're getting ready to launch something and they're writing about it. Maybe it's a launch sequence in their posting. Maybe it's something that they changed or updated on their profile. Being able to identify those things and then
Hmm.
bring them up in a casual conversation with someone opens dialogue so that you can have a conversation with someone without selling. And then because we're entrepreneurs and business people, we all talk shop. It's just a matter of time before the conversation
Yeah.
turns to talking shop. And you just have to be patient and wait for that opportunity to present themselves. And don't force it. Allow the other person to bring it up to you. They're going to want to give you equal time, at least somewhat equal time. So they're going to ask you about what you have going on too. Now you have your opportunity to tell them what you're doing.
Oh, wow. Yes, definitely. Um, yeah, I think the more I talk with you, the more I'm convinced that, I mean, I talked about it my previous episode was all about this. And then we actually didn't intend to talk about that topic at all. But then our title actually ended up saying AI is making us more human. Yeah. And for me, also, like my whole time of engineering career, I always felt like the whole reason why I do engineering is to make people's lives better.
Mm-hmm.
And because I work in an information space, I always feel like people waste a lot of time because either they don't have the information or they have a wrong information or wrongly assembled information, partial information, always. So if you know the full picture, like if you knew exactly everything that's going on your prospect's company, there's a very high chance that you can close that sales.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
you never have this information because you're not the insider. So that's why we do a lot of these kind of research and everything. And actually, I mentioned this before too. It's like what I see AI's biggest power is an ability to pull information and create a structure out of it very quickly, because it takes a lot of effort. But just looking over someone's LinkedIn profile and figuring out what to talk about, it takes longer than you would think for a human brain to
Oh
process.
yeah, yeah.
So
It took way too long.
yeah, this was actually one of the biggest area that I benefited a lot from AI. I actually mentioned it to you before we started recording. Also, was um, I used to be so lazy that I just don't do much of the account research before I go into the call or go into a coffee chat. Now I can actually go in prepared about what kind of career path they went through. It helps me understand, and that alone just saved me a lot of time. And I can actually start having more like in-depth conversation with the person without trying to probe and try to figure out information, because I know some of them, and
Hmm.
I can get to the point. I can get to talk, like learn more interesting stuff about this person instead of just like scratching the surface.
Yep.
So that definitely helps. Other areas, overall, like what I see AI from my perspective was it really frees us from a lot of the things that I didn't know I was wasting time on. Something that I thought it was my job, but then actually turns out it wasn't something that I should have been doing. I could have focused more on just trying to figure out asking better questions to a person, for example. You know, so definitely making us more human, opposed to a lot of people are very afraid of, which is getting replaced by AI,
Yeah. Yeah.
and trying to compete with AI. Definitely, there's a lot of areas where you can just use AI to become a better kind of person, or more competent person, I think.
Oh, I totally
So
agree.
yeah. Well, based on that, you jumped the gun a little bit, so I will just ask a few questions that I prepared. You know, since I talked about AI replacement and making us more human, there was one of the questions that I prepared is, what's one task you'll never delegate to AI?
Uh, Listening with empathy. That's
Mm.
100% human.
Ah, yes, yes. But there's a lot of note taker systems that are trying to give you summaries. What do you think about that, actually?
Well, the nice thing about summaries is that it
Mm-hmm.
can give you information that you don't have to, you can focus more on the other person and not have to try to remember things and take notes along the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think we talked about this a little bit before the interview too. Is that if there's some details that I might have missed, but the AI picked up about the other person, something special that they might have mentioned, something
Mm-hmm.
small that I can bring up later on in the conversation or in the
Mm-hmm.
very next conversation. That shows that I've really been paying attention, that I've been paying attention to the details. And
Mm-hmm.
that's very attractive to anyone, that anyone's paying that much attention to the things that you're saying and seems that
Mm-hmm.
interested in you, because people are interested in people that are interesting to that find them interesting. And if you can do
Yes.
that, you're more than halfway there to building a strong relationship with someone.
Wow. I was while we were talking, I was also looking at the questions I prepared, and I realized that we answered almost all of them already. There's no point in asking these questions. Maybe we can just go straight to the last one that I prepared was what's your one sentence advice for entrepreneurs or people who are starting their business feeling overwhelmed by AI?
I would say the same thing I tell all my clients is that we're looking for one conversation a day and looking to improve that by 1% every day. So it's really the slight edge. It seems like it's a small thing to do. In the slight edge, he talks about saving 1 penny a day every day. But if you do that, when it's time to retire, you will have a fortune on such a small little act. But then if you apply the um, atomic habits of improving 1%, then you're going to get there so much faster. You have the compounding of that one single action. And if you can do that, it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's certainly doable, and you'll be
Yes.
surprised at how much progress you make after a couple of weeks, a month. You'll be miles ahead of where you thought you'd ever be.
Wow. I will make sure this one gets nice highlighted subtitle as well. No, it's very important. I think a lot of people try to jump to conclusion. I mean, especially when I see especially on the SaaS area, young entrepreneurs they want to get to result very quickly.
Yep.
That's why they eventually buy into, I guess we call this the guru courses or try to spam the I mean that's probably why people like copying the influencers post to get attention
Yep.
or trying to write clickbait rage bait content
Yep.
online,
Narrow
trying to
content.
go viral. I think I also see this a lot. It's like you have to go viral to be successful. I actually had a online kind of argument with someone on this. And then I basically said, so if you go viral, but then you don't have anything to back up the traffic coming from the virality, then what's the point,
You're
right?
exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And then can you consistently and reliably go viral every time as well? Because that's also another thing. So you sacrifice so much to go viral because going viral means a lot. I think there are sometimes people who are very good at going viral, like picking up signals or what's going on in the world, but then most
Mhm.
people aren't. I see them as more like less than 1% talent of
Yep.
being able to talk what the world wants to hear. And that's something that is very hard, but definitely what you say about just basically going from small commenting, connecting, this is definitely more doable. And I do see it probably much shorter to success than trying to go viral, actually.
Yeah,
Because,
it is. It
yeah.
is. I had a viral post um, about a month ago. So we had over 4,000 likes and
Mhm.
600
Wow.
comments and like 250 or so shares. Um, it was exhausting trying to reply to the comments. And I thought, I don't want to do this very often. In fact, I don't want
Yeah.
to do it again, quite frankly, because it was just exhausting. If you're going to go viral, you have to have a team of people that are going to reply to comments. And now the interaction of you and the people that are engaging with your posts has been outsourced to someone else. So you lose that ability to connect with people.
Hmm.
You're much better off commenting on other people's posts, doing the 1 hour a day approach that I follow. That is absolutely doable. And what I
Yeah.
found with the viral content, like you said, I couldn't, all those potential leads went to waste because I did not have time to move them into a follow up system fast enough to follow up with them and then reply to all the posts. So they were pretty much lost. And you can't come back to them 2 weeks, 3 weeks later because they've completely forgotten what they
Yeah.
liked or commented on. Even a couple of
Mhm.
days later is probably too late for most of them.
Yeah. Wow. So the game of the social selling, I guess another term that people use for this was social selling, but that's the OG term, I think, a little bit old,
Yeah, I think
but
so.
definitely doable. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't try to jump too far. Just to go build a habit one day a day, one day at a time, right?
Yep. Yeah, if you do that, you'll
Hmm.
everything will work out. It you will. I haven't had a client follow that approach and fail. Not one.
Well, that also helps me answer the closing segment because there was a question I prepared to share about your work and then its effect, and then you just answered it already before I even asked. Haven't seen a person fail with this method. That's already good enough. So yeah, so I guess we will just try to see if you can share how people could reach out to you to learn more about the approach and the methods actually.
Hey, yeah, I would say just follow me on LinkedIn. Subscribe to. I've got two different newsletters: the Business Rainmaker and the
Mm-hmm.
Strategic Ally. Those two newsletters will keep you up to date with what we're doing. And then
Mm-hmm.
we are launching the Genuine Connection Alliance. If not this week, next week.
Mm-hmm.
Come join us. It's a supportive community. It is not
Mm-hmm.
about me, it's about the community. I'm just really a manager of the community, but we're going to have people like you that are experts in AI, that are following a process that is more human,
Mm-hmm.
and highly effective in business growth. So there's just lots to learn and lots that we're going to share. And we're there. It's a community that's designed to help one another for collaboration, referrals, and just business growth.
Wow. All right. Hope we can find more people to help out with this video as
Absolutely.
well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And thank you for your time today filming this as well.